Situation in the United States is definitely getting out of hand, you guys. Like every single hour there is something, and it doesn't seem to be any relief from it. You know that we have sleeper cells here. You know that we are being hit with cyber attacks by Iran and other countries as well. Mind you, we do the same thing to people too. So I know somebody will be in the comments saying that. But we can't seem to catch a break. There is one thing after the other. And sometimes it's not even other countries that's doing things to us. It's actually us hurting us. Well, the elites looking to hurt us to make their play to reset this country.
A world-shaking cyber attack this year that would get people's attention. It sounds like you agree with that.
I think that's totally possible. Yes, I think to avoid that, it will require a tremendous amount of work.
Get people's attention, you don't say. Where have I heard that one before? Oh yeah, that's right.
We'll have to prepare for the next one. The next one. That, I'd say is, will get attention this time.
Groups to embed sleeper cells in the homeland to be activated. Experts we spoke to said that should the U.S. join these attacks on Iran, they may try to activate these sleeper cells, Kelly.
Iran's operatives in the U.S. will strike.
So you think we need to understand and remember that you've got Iranian operatives in the United States right now?
Yes.
One coming out today, White House is currently monitoring possible Iranian sleeper cells in the United States.
The FBI has just put out a warning for California, the whole state of California. If you know anybody in California, send this to them. Apparently, they intercepted some kind of communication where a vessel was sent in the waters off of California with drones by Iran, and the plan was to have the drones fly off of that vessel and hit targets in California. They're mentioning it, so they know about it. Hopefully that means they've intercepted it, and hopefully there's nothing to worry about. But that's the warning that was just put out. A lot of people don't watch the news. So they're not going to get this. So if you know anybody in California, make sure you send this to them. Head on a swivel, California. By the way, the Coast Guard is not functioning right now.
America, we could potentially have a massive problem. The EPA has just issued a drinking water warning to millions of customers. So the Environmental Protection Agency has issued a critical warning about widespread cybersecurity vulnerabilities in the nation's drinking water systems, which could affect millions of Americans.
Groups to embed sleeper cells in the homeland to be activated. Experts we spoke to said that should the U.S. join these attacks on Iran, they may try to activate these sleeper cells, Kelly.
Iran's operatives in the U.S. will strike.
So you think we need to understand and remember that you've got Iranian operatives in the United States right now?
Yes.
One coming out today, White House is currently monitoring possible Iranian sleeper cells in the United States.
A world-shaking cyber attack this year that would get people's attention. It sounds like you agree with that.
I think that's totally possible. Yes, I think to avoid that, it will require a tremendous amount of work.
Get people's attention, you don't say. Where have I heard that one before? Oh yeah, that's right.
We'll have to prepare for the next one. The next one. That, I'd say is, will get attention this time.
Truly a face that only a mother could love. But now let's go back to this interview with Sam Altman.
And yes, that is the same Sam Altman that is throwing up data centers left and right along with these other elites. The takeover is happening. This new pandemic, cyber pandemic, is definitely going to get your attention.
Where, as you just heard, they are telling you what's coming. A crippling cyber attack that will get everybody's attention. Where, as we can see, the stage is perfectly set right now. See right here, the other day, Iranian hackers are breaking into U.S. industrial systems. U.S. warns of cyber attacks tied to Iran on water and energy systems. Oh, how lovely. Reports cyber threats to critical infrastructure intensify as U.S. cybercrime losses hit $21 billion. We can see Minnesota going through this right now, where the governor activates National Guard to aid county after a cyber attack. He must be super excited about this all. And now, of course, just like back in 2019, where there was a simulation event of a virus going throughout the world causing chaos, and then lo and behold, it actually happened in 2020. Well, the WEF did the same exact thing with a cyber pandemic. Doesn't that sound awesome? It was called the Cyber Polygon, Cyber Pandemic Simulation by the World Economic Forum. For on July 9th, 2021, the World Economic Forum and its partners simulated a global cyber attack. The training exercise being held for the third time that year involved a simulated large-scale cyber attack on a company's supply chain and the real-time response thereto, with the scenario being referred to as a cyber pandemic. Well, there you go. They're not even hiding it. They are literally broadcasting what their plan is. So now with that understanding of the writing on the wall, you should be able to prepare spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, because let's be honest, there's no way in the world that you can prepare physically enough for what is possibly coming with enough supplies or whatever. You can prepare all you want with canned beans and rice and sardines and water, which it's wise for sure, but you will not prepare enough. You will always need more, or you never know what might happen. Your house might, catch on fire. You might have to evacuate, and all those supplies are gone. So with that, that's why I want to just encourage you guys that the main priority here for us as believers is to be prepared spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. Those are the priority, because if and when something takes place that gets the attention of everybody, it is going to be our duty as believers to go out there and be ambassadors of the Lord, because that is our purpose and responsibility as believers. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 20. Now then, we are ambassadors, representatives for Christ, as though God were pleading through us in these crazy times, seeing the writing on the wall, to be ready spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, because it's very easy to allow this information to cause fear, anxiety, stress, and dread. But we need to go back to the Word of God. We need to go back to the gospel and go back to the truth that Jesus is the Prince of Peace, and he lives inside of you with his Holy Spirit, who is the comforter. So we allow him to comfort us so that we can comfort others, and we allow his peace that surpasses all understanding to guard our heart and our mind during these crazy times. But the only way that we can do that is looking unto Jesus, who is the author and the perfecter of your faith. So
for anyone who is doubting that this can be done, well, they did it in 2023. Check this out.
Tonight, amid this Israeli war, tonight there is new concern that Iranian-backed hackers might have targeted the water supply system near Pittsburgh. The ominous message sent about using equipment made by Israel. Here's our Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas now.
Tonight, evidence that hackers with ties to Iran may be testing the American infrastructure for vulnerabilities. Officials at a small water utility site in Pennsylvania, just outside of Pittsburgh, noticed Friday night that a computer that helps control water pressure for 2 townships was malfunctioning. When they rebooted the system, this ominous message, highlighted in red, appeared on the screen, saying, "You have been hacked." The group claiming responsibility called themselves Cyber Avengers, saying they were attacking because the water utility used equipment made in Israel.
I still need to get some for right in here. Here. A little bit back to here. Because that retains
So I just got another 55-gallon drum, and I've already cleaned it out, and now I'm filling it up with water from the hose, which is our municipal water. It's already chlorinated. So let me show you what I do to treat it for long-term storage. All right, it's about halfway filled, and let me show you what treatment that I like to use for these. So what I use is different than the ones you're typically used to seeing, because this one is actually not chlorine-based. They have their own patented technology. You can see here they use copper and silver to sanitize the water. And what I like about this one versus the others, other than it doesn't use chlorine, is that you don't have to do your water change up until 5 years. To me, that's way better than exchanging it every 6 months, every 1 year, whatever your rotation is. Obviously, you still have to check on your water supply every 6 months just to make sure that there is no contaminants growing. You have to check for fogginess, for algae, things like that. So now that my tank is halfway filled, it doesn't really matter at what point you put these in. I like to wait for halfway fill. That way, when I put the rest of the water in, I feel like it mixes around a little bit better. And I'm going to put the entire bottle in here. Now, why am I purifying water that's already from a chlorinated municipality water source? There's 2 main reasons for this. The first being, obviously, I want to prolong as much as I can the sanitary level of this water. And the second is because I am using a hose, and contaminants can get into a hose, even though this is a brand new hose with this attachment that's been on it since I got it. Remember, any small bit of bacteria grows into a lot more bacteria in these things. Okay, we're all filled up, and we are going to replace the cap on the bunghole. And then we're going to take the bunghole tool and make sure that the cap is secure. And this is the guideline for a 55-gallon drum. 4.5 teaspoons unscented liquid chlorine bleach.
Canning water is considered crazy only until a natural disaster hits and there is no bottled water to be found. Let me show you how to do it. And if you're a beginner canner, this is the perfect recipe for you. Start out by filling your jars with your water. I just used our fridge water, making sure to leave 1/2 inch of headspace. These next 2 steps aren't entirely necessary because we're just canning water, but to get in the habit, we are going to debubble our jars and wipe our rims with white vinegar. Now place your lids and your rings on, making sure to only tighten fingertip tight. Don't crank those rings on. After all of your lids and rings are on, it's time to bring them to your canner. Because the water in our fridge was cold, the water in the canner also needs to be cold. If your water is hot, the jars and the canner need to be hot as well. If not, you risk your jars busting. Carefully place your jars in the water bath canner, making sure there's at least 1 to 2 inches of water above your jars. As you can see, I needed to add a little bit more water to mine. To prevent your jars from being cloudy, add a splash of white vinegar. Place your canner lid on and turn your heat to high. Once it hits a rolling boil, set your timer for 20 minutes. After the 20 minutes, carefully remove each jar, making sure to open the lid away from you. Carefully place your very, very hot jars on a towel and allow to sit untouched for 12 to 24 hours. After the 24 hours, it is time to check your seals. There's a couple different ways on how to check your seals. First, remove your rings and lift up your jar just by the lid. I like to be extra brave and tip mine upside down and give it a good shake. If your lid is sealed, give it a good wash and label.
And so no, she's not crazy. I have sterile water right here. Whenever I'm canning regular food though, that's when I can my water. Because if I have extra jars left over, I just go ahead and throw them in because I don't want to half fill my canner with jars of food. Happy stockpiling. So these are like two, I believe 55-gallon drums that my husband used to use with his fish tank, which we're about to take that fish tank down. I'm not sure if we're going to use one of them. One I know we're not going to use because he had that as a salt water, and the other one was just regular water. So we will definitely be using one of these, and it might not be here, it may be at the other homestead. And here is one of the other ones. We use this one for just regular water, so we'll definitely be storing water in this one as well. This country is headed in a direction that none of us really know. Things don't even change on a daily. Things are changing by the hours, okay? So what's happening right now, an hour or two from now could definitely change because we are at war. And I do pray that you are having a beautiful day. You're not allowing the world to run your life, that you are living. Don't forget to live your life to the best of your ability and definitely put God first.
Here's to the good days, here's to the sorrows. If this is a mistake, I know about tomorrow. I don't wanna fight no more, cause I don't feel the need no more, no. Just wanna make it stop. Maybe it's something in the water,